I hear about Habitat? I first heard about Habitat for Humanity reading the newspaper. I remember I was sitting in my car, I think I was on break or something, and I just glanced down in a little portion of the news article, and there was an opportunity that it would suit me and my kids.
Well, I heard about Habitat through one of my coworkers. She did volunteer work with Habitat, and I told her about my situation, and she told me about Habitat for Humanity and was like, why don't you apply?
First heard about Habitat for Humanity from my professor at DePaul University. I was writing a paper about homelessness, and we gave some reflections, and in that reflection I talked about where I lived, and she said her husband volunteered and that I should apply.
Well, I was a school teacher for 35 years, and I spent most of my time in the summers rehabbing and building. And based on my construction background and some of my people skills, Habitat thought it would be good to bring me in on as a project leader here. So that's how I got started with Habitat.
I started out just as a volunteer, so I have a lot of compassion for what our volunteers go through on a day-to-day basis when they come out to our job site. It was never something I planned on doing it for a career. It's been something I fell in love with. I eventually did 2 years of AmeriCorps, which is kind of the domestic version of the Peace Corps. I did 1 year here, setting up our Brush with Kindness program. And then I did another year in North Carolina doing construction, where I learned how to build houses. And from there, just kind of blossomed from that. Last fall, Travis called me and asked me if I wanted to come back home to Chicago, and I jumped at the opportunity.
What was the application like? Well, the process was simple. It was nothing that I really wasn't unprepared for.
Well, the application process was long, but not too bad. I applied. The first time I applied, I was denied due to some things that I had on my credit. But I reapplied again, cleared up everything that I had to clear up, and was accepted.
The hardest part of the application process was waiting to find out if I was selected, and waiting to see the house, and driving by the houses and doing all the research I could to find out what houses were available. The wait was the hardest part.
We have no different process in building this house than we do in any other remodeling job or construction job. We follow all the same standards as the guidelines in the state and the municipalities have for us. The only difference is that we have to take our time and train the volunteers. And so sometimes that process takes a little longer, but the quality and the standards are all right there, and we have to abide by them, and we're glad to. So when we're done, it's a brand new home, and we're all proud of it.
I think the quality of the home is equal in many ways, and the fact that the production is not the first priority, so there's no reason to take shortcuts. We want to do everything completely. We want to do things that are guarantee that the house is going to be a quality, long-term home without maintenance issues, without really hard costs that are going to come up unexpectedly. So doing a quality job is more important than doing a fast job. First came on with Habitat, it was and started as a volunteer. It was a transition to realize that going from working as a professional carpenter, that production is a high priority, and Habitat, the quality is equally as important, but the relationship is also a priority. That we're building relationships with the family partners, with the volunteers, and with the entire community.
What is it like to work on a house with volunteers? It's great. It's a awesome opportunity. You get to meet different people from all walks of life, and it's great.
Working on the home with the volunteers, it's fun because you get to meet new people pretty much every week. Everybody's awesome, nice, and very helpful, very willing to work, and I mean, they're giving up their time to help someone who they don't even know. So I mean, it's great. Everyone has been so nice.
Working on the home with the volunteers gives me an opportunity to meet them. There's a group that's called the Wednesday Regulars, and some of them will never meet me and never know who I am. They're just doing this because they want to help. And being able to come here on the weekends and work on my own home and meet them, they meet me, they know my story, they understand what they're doing and who they're doing it for. So it makes it more personal.
It was a lot of fun for me. I also really was impressed about how their hearts were totally into it, and out of that it went to their hands. And what they were doing was an expression of their commitment to not only what Habitat's mission was, but also to being a blessing to the people that were going to own the home.
We use volunteers for a variety of things. We're doing demolition, cleanup, framing, siding, painting, hanging drywall, insulation.
For me, the experience of being on site with all the volunteers was really the fun part of the process, and it was something that we did look forward to. It didn't feel like a burden to be here and to participate. I was even expecting our 5th child during that time, and didn't really mind to be working alongside while pregnant, and did enjoy building relationships with the people that were so very committed, getting to know people that came back again and again, and really gave hour upon hour to our home. I think when it was all said and done, that was a big piece of the value of this home, is knowing how many hands went into the process, and the love that was behind that. And for us, you know, I've said that you couldn't offer a mansion on the hill in replacement for this home because of everything it represents to us, and that's a big part of that.
I wouldn't say that we have any difficulties with what's going on a job site. You know, if there is a difficulty, it's just teaching people how to work with some of the things they're not experienced with, some of the power tools, and so just making them comfortable with things that are outside of their normal use. And once we instruct them and go over the safety issues and explain how it all works, they start to become more comfortable.
The biggest challenge is trying to find something that's appropriate for their skill level. Because I want people to believe in what they're doing, and what they're doing is important to the house, but I don't want to give them something so difficult that they get frustrated. Some volunteers come here with absolutely no experience. I've actually had to teach people how to swing hammers, but to see them go from being scared of breaking something in the morning to actually owning a task for the day is very rewarding.
You know, one of the most rewarding parts of working on any Habitat home really is just seeing humanity, people, community, all coming together selflessly, giving to somebody else.
I never expected to develop the bonds I have with the homeowners. It's something that's developed over time, but you come out here every day and you see them, you really get to know them, get to know their families.
Wow, when I found out I was accepted, I was so excited, so excited. I'm like, wow, things are finally moving in the great direction. Finally get something for me and my kids. It was a great feeling. It was amazing. It was amazing to know that I'm finally gonna have something that's my own.
When we found out we were selected as a partner family, we were very excited because it helped us see we'd gone through a lot of processes in other things, and this was sort of like the culmination. And so being selected gave us a feeling of, wow, we're arriving somewhere that we've been trying to go for a long time.
What advice would I would give to other family partners, potential family partners, is number one, just be patient. Realize that it's for your family, and it's worth the wait.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Keep at it. Just make sure you, know what you have to do to get into the program. Figure out make sure your credit is in order, your work-wise, everything just pretty much in order. I don't know, just don't give up. Like I said, I was denied the first time, but I came back and everything worked out. So it was great. I'm glad I came back again and I tried.
The one piece of advice I would give anyone who is considering applying is not to think that you wouldn't qualify because you're not down and out enough. The program's meant for someone who can pay the mortgage back, but right now maybe can't afford to get a home on their own or has some issues. So just try.
If I were giving a piece of advice, it would be to persevere. Our first application was declined, and we reapplied. We were encouraged to reapply, and so we did. So I would just say, if at first you don't succeed, try again.
The impact that owning a Habitat home on our family has been quite significant. We've gone from being transient to having the stability that we didn't have before owning a home. together. This is the first home we've owned in our marriage, and we have 5 children. So it gives us a place that we say is home, and that's much more than 4 walls, you know, and some bedrooms. It really represents a place that we are developing as people and as a family together. And a lot happens here, and so it's very meaningful for us to say that we own this beautiful home.
I can't think of any other place that would be suitable for us.